This is my new project for the next few months. No, I haven't become a lumberjack, but it's not all that dissimilar. It'll be long hours out in the forest. It'll be dangerous at times. And well, it's gonna be a lot of hard physical work. But in the end, it'll be worth it. And that's because I'm going to build a mountain bike trail right here. And I count myself lucky to be able to do so. Because, well, look at this forest. It's beautiful here. It's a blank canvas to create a ribbon of single track that hopefully everybody will want to ride. The trail that we'll be building has a name already, but for now, we'll give it the code name Stone Starlet. But in order to show you what we're really working with here, we need to take a look from above. From this view, you can see that we're dealing with a typical coastal BC rainforest, complete with clear cuts from logging. The top of the trail will start up here, in an area that we'll call the Grove. Filled with a mix of evergreen and broadleaf trees, this relatively open zone with undulating terrain will make for some interesting trail to ride. Building in an area like this is pretty much a trail builder's dream. Along the edge of our building area is a creek, which creates a big ravine. We won't be able to cross this, so we'll have to follow it downhill, where we arrive at a place we'll call the Badlands. A clear cut filled with logging slash left behind from when the loggers took the trees. And as you might expect, it's going to be difficult to build here. In fact, just walking through a clear cut is a little tricky, if not a little dangerous. But there are some upsides to building trail in a clear cut. With such an open area, you can build in pretty much any direction. And with all these stumps around, many can be turned into features. As we continue down, we arrive at the jungle, a really dense patch of forest near the bottom of the trail. Clearing the trail through here will take some work, but there are a few things in here that may make this zone passable with a mountain bike. In fact, there may be something that could make for a pretty exciting exit feature. So from the grove at the top to the jungle at the bottom is a difference of about 100 meters in elevation, or 330 feet. Distance-wise, it should be about a half kilometer or a third of a mile to the bottom. And while that may seem short, that's because my section is only 1/3 of the trail. There's more trail going in above, which work has already started on. And the best thing about all of this is that once the line is done, this will be a legal trail that anybody can come and ride for free. And that's because I'm working with our local Mountain Bike Trail Association, the Fraser Valley Mountain Bike Association, or the FVMBA. Chris, who's heading up the charge on this trail, asked me to work on the lower section while he works on the middle section. So in future videos, you may see a bit of Chris helping out on my section, or I may pay him a visit up in his section. You'll also be seeing a lot of this guy. His name is Bobby. He's been helping Chris out a ton, and he'll be helping me out as well. So with such a big project in my hands, it's important to go about it in a smart way. I can't just go out and start cutting trail willy-nilly and expect it to be fun. So I went out to do some scouting to find the best way down the mountain. In the grove, at the top, we have a lot of undulating terrain which we can use to our advantage. Much of this area can be turned into berms, rollers, or even jumps with not a lot of effort. The clear cut will prove to be tricky, but there's a stand of trees to the side which will help avoid some of the mess. Plus, riding in trees is just better. I did try crossing the logging road into this zone here, and yeah, big mistake. Getting into it. So we'll continue through the Badlands until we reach the jungle, which I mentioned earlier has some interesting options. So now that I have an idea of where the trail will go, it's time to get more specific with the lines. So for this process, I'm going to flag the trail with these little orange flags. They're easy to place, highly visible, and they're easy to move in case I change my mind down the road. When I'm flagging the trail, I look for natural features in the terrain to take advantage of. For example, this bump in the ground will make for a great berm. It's not perfect, but nature has done at least 50% of the work already. Something else to think about is drainage. As fun as it is to just go straight down, the water will do the same thing, taking all the beautiful soil with it and just leaving rocks and roots. So to avoid this, we can design in what is called a grade reversal. Basically a section of trail that goes uphill for a moment before going down again, like this roller. Not only will this help keep the dirt on the trail, but it also makes it more fun, turning it into a pump track in the forest. One of the most common mistakes that new trail builders will make is that they'll build a trail with corners that are too tight. It's really easy to do as your sense of space and speed is different as you slowly walk the terrain. You're sure it'll work, and then you get on your bike to try it, and it's not nearly as fun as you thought it would be. I definitely made that mistake when I built my first trail, Salty Nozzle. After riding it for the first time, I realized it was too tight and I had to make some alterations. Even now, it still has a few corners that are just a little too tight and awkward. But eventually I flagged my way into the Badlands, where the trail meets its first and only climb. Don't get me wrong, a climb is always an unfortunate interruption to all that fun you're having on the downhill, but sometimes it's just unavoidable with the limitations of the terrain. But it's just a short climb, and soon we're back in a small stand of trees, ready to go downhill again. But this section of the clear cut is such a quagmire, so I decided to stop flagging and give myself some time to think about it. There are a lot of options here, and from a building standpoint, the shortest line down is tempting because clearing all the logging leftovers isn't going to be much fun. But from a riding point of view, you don't want to lose all that elevation instantly. So I'll leave that decision for a later date. And for now, there's plenty of work to do up top in the grove. So with the top half of the trail flagged, we'll start working there. Next week, we'll chop all that deadfall out, start cutting some trail, shaping berms, and building our first jump. The following week, we'll build a wooden feature in the typical BC fashion using cedar sourced from the forest we're working in. So by now, I hope you guys are as excited about this project as I am. And you may even be wondering, where exactly are you building this so I can come ride it? Well, for now, I'm going to keep the location under wraps. But when we complete the line, I'll let you know exactly where it is and you can come out and experience it for yourself. But, as always, thanks for watching and stay gnarly.